Hi everybody, I'm gonna try to do a quick tutorial on how I did my Spotify glass pane. Bear with me, this is my first attempt at a tutorial, so I promise there will be plenty of hiccups and bumps along the way, but hopefully I'll be able to at least show you how I created mine. So there are SVG files. There is for a media player on Etsy right now. And I will pull that one up to show you. You see, I purchased it yesterday. Here it is. My problem is when I put it in here, I didn't like the, I guess, the lack of crispness in the icons. So rather than use this one, I chose to make my own. So if you already have the SVG file, and you are going to use that, the next 60 seconds of this video, you may want to fast forward because I'm just going to do a quick walkthrough of how I did mine individually, and then we'll get back to the fonts and how to create the Spotify code in just a second. But for those of you who are like me and kind of like a little bit more of the crispness and the detail, that's more important. Here is how I did mine. I'll actually put up the numbers so you can see. So I did a quick Google search for media player icons, and that is where I got the play, the shuffle, the fast forward, the pause. And so we'll just use this one real quick. And then I just resized them to my liking. Again, I don't know if there is a set that it's supposed to be. This was just my take on it, and so kind of what I did with mine. So I use these widths here. So for instance, for the pause or play, it's just a 1-inch circle. For my fast forward and rewind, I actually chose to use the shapes just because I couldn't find that exact crispness, I guess, for lack of better terms, that I was looking for. So I just chose to create my own. It's pretty simple. I just created them out of the triangle and the square. Welded those together. And then just resized them to what I wanted. And then did a quick copy and paste, Control C, Control V, and a quick flip. And then just aligned them. Same thing with the heart. Obviously, like I said, the shuffle and the repeat. Again, I got icons off of Google and just dropped them into a cut file, as well as the heart. And then this is clearly just the oval shaped ended bar. I like the oval instead of the cut. So I just used an oval one. I also chose to have my song playing. So since I have it playing, I used the pause. If you choose to have it at the beginning of the song, I would probably drop in the play. There is a same kind of concept as the pause, just grab the play icon and drop that one in instead. So if you are doing them individually, like I said, this is how I did mine, and then just created the same thing on each side for my shuffle and my repeat, and just put them in the correct spots. I think I'm wearing my design space out today. I always just use one or the other. I just let it auto for the other, since to me it was more important that they were the same size versus width. But so you kind of get the idea. This is what I did, just place them all to match. So if you want to do individual, these are the sizes that I used. By all means, if that's what you want to look like, you can use those. If not, using the Etsy SVG file, we'll do the same. And then you would just pick up over here. I'll get rid of this for a second, with the fonts and the Spotify code. To do the Spotify codes, as I did in my walkthrough, I just grabbed this from my mobile device, did a quick screenshot, cut it down, sent it to myself an email, saved it as a picture, and then we're just going to do a quick, make a quick cut file out of it. I'm actually going to use this one instead. These ones I sized to 3 inches because I did my total width at 5 inches so that it all kind of lined up, gave me some room on each side. So this one I did at 5 inches. I felt like that gave me the best room on my pane. Then I just made my song title. I did it in the font Arial. There's an Arial bold, but I felt like when I used the Arial bold font that the letters were a little bit closer together. And when I used the font and then the style bold and then changed the font size to 33, I felt like I had a little bit of space, at least for this one. So I went with changing the style to bold rather than the Arial bold font. And then for the artist name, I used the Arial narrow, and then just in the regular style, and then in the 27-inch font. I always like to do a really quick check just to make sure that everything is all lined up before I go to my right to print it, making sure it's all the right size, kind of in the row. Do a quick weld before, because a lot of times you're making multiple things. You'll want to make sure that's done. So this is the way that I did mine, at least the SVG part. I mean the SVG vinyl part. A couple ways to do the album art is, my preference is I just opened it up in Publisher or whatever you use to do your printing, or whatever you're comfortable with, and just change your height and width to whatever you're going to be using. I did a 5x5 on mine, and then just print it this way in your printer. You can also pull it up in the design space. However, and I maybe again just was doing it wrong, so that could totally be, and if that's the case, not surprised, but this is just what happened for me. When I saved it as a print and cut file, when it printed, even in my printer, I got lines. I got some lines on it. So my preference is to use a different, just use a different program to print. So again, this one is going to be, I did mine as a 5x5 for sizing on my 8x10 glass, and whatever works for you. So I'm going to go ahead and put these, send these to print. I'm going to print my vinyl for my labeling and my Spotify, and I am going to send my cover to the printer, and then we'll get back with putting them all together.